I want to very quickly summarize this video. My Centauri carbon is now dead yet again. This time around, I have no idea what killed it. I swapped out the little PCB on the back of the tool end right here and the hot end with the replacement parts that Elegoo sent me. And obviously that didn't work. I do not have the original USB-C cable that came with this printer because that original USB-C cable that came with this printer died on me. Because again, in the previous video, I replaced it with just a bog standard USB-C cable I had laying around, and the printer was working completely fine ever since, up until now. The last thing I printed off my Centauri carbon was this Battleship Yamato I printed off maybe about a day or two ago. So obviously the printer, up again to a few days ago, was working completely fine. I did nothing crazy to it or anything. I just wasn't printing for a few days. So it was just sitting doing nothing. So today I decided to do another print. I want to start off on my life-size Mita. So I had a little bit of film laying around, so I was looking through the files I set up to see if I have something that I can print within the limited amount of film that I had. So I decided I want to print off a little bit of her hair and whatnot. I went to hit print, sent it to the printer, and then the Centauri carbon just sat there doing nothing. It didn't give me no errors or anything. It popped up the little image of what I was trying to print, but it just did jack shit. I let it sit there for about maybe a minute to 30 seconds or so. I decided, okay, the printer's acting up because I let it sit for a few days. I power cycled, and then when I power cycled, it came back with a connection to the main board, and the tool end is not working right. Anomaly on the tool end, basically. And of course, I disconnected this, I turned it off, disconnected this, plugged it back in, booted it up, did the same thing, turned it off again, unplugged it from the main board, plugged it back in, turned it back on, did the same thing again, still wasn't working. Then I pulled the other USB-C cable I actually have, which is this one right here that I initially used to actually fix the Centauri carbon in a previous video. And of course, this one also didn't work. And I know for a fact it's not the cables because again, this cable works completely fine. I even was able to transfer files from my smartphone to my computer, as you'll see later on in the video and whatnot. So it definitely is not the cable. It's definitely not the cable in the Centauri carbon. So before you ask about where is the original Centauri carbon USB-C cable for this thing, it's long gone. It's somewhere in the old trash field somewhere, wherever they are taken. And that's because, again, in my previous video, I found out that that cable actually broke on me, hence why I'm using a third-party cable. And again, it was working completely fine up until, well, just now. So I was able to get another maybe about months use out of this thing before it died on me again. And this time around, again, I replaced the main board and the hot end with the new parts they sent me, and yet it still doesn't work. So this thing is fucking dead again, and my Neptune 4 Max, left alone for about a fucking month, if not longer, turned on. Yeah, I'm now reheating everything up, and I'm about to do a bed level on this thing. This thing right here still fucking works. And yet this thing right here died on me twice. First time I was able to revive it. This time around, it's actually fucking dead. So I can't do shit with this thing anymore. Now, since someone over at Elegoo is probably going to be seeing this video, and of course I also want to show this to the other people that are actually interested in my stuff and whatnot, this is what I was actually trying to start printing on first. After I get her done, I was going to work on Jack. For other things I've already done previously, again, my Battleship Yamato, this one's in my closet, but this is the life-size Cappy, also from my side. So it's not like I haven't been putting the Centauri carbon through its paces. I absolutely have. This thing was printed on both the Centauri carbon and the Neptune 4 Max. Now obviously people that watch my channel on a fairly consistent basis will already know this, but since I'm going to be sending this off to Elegoo, I do want to show the person there what I'm actually doing with their printers because, well, I am a customer and I do want to praise their printers while also being very annoyed that my Centauri carbon decided to fucking die on me again when it was literally just sitting doing nothing. That is honestly the most annoying part about this. I revived the stupid thing. and then it just dies on me again. My Centauri carbon is on the fritz yet again. And I don't know what the issue is this time. I pulled out the replacement board that Elegoo sent to me, and I'm still getting the exact same issues. Now granted, I haven't actually put it into the Hotend yet, but it still didn't do anything and it gave me the exact same issues. Now at first I thought it was the cable finally dying on me, so I swapped out to another cable, or the cable I was using, and it gave me the exact same errors again. It's basically saying tool head malfunction, check connections between the tool head and the main board. So I disconnected again the cable I'm using now, put the old cable I was using in there. I threw away the original USB-C cable this thing had because that's broke and dead. So there's no point to using it to test it because and whatnot, because they'll still give me the exact same issues. And of course the other cable, which was this one right here, was giving me the exact same issues again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug this cable back into both the Hotend and the main board and boot this thing up again and show you what it's doing. As you can see, it thinks the Hotend isn't able to connect to the main board. So there are lights on the back of the board, which I don't think you can see due to the way this cover is. So let me actually remove this cover. As you can see, the lights on the main board are active, so it is clearly getting power and whatnot. But the printer itself still thinks there's a problem when clearly there fucking isn't. I'm not going to go through all the time and effort to pull this thing apart just to get to this board just to find out that it doesn't work. So I wired everything up to where I can get the thing to turn on and whatnot to see if everything still works. And if this board replacement that they sent me actually fixes the issue, well then I'm happy they sent this board off to me. But I don't think that'll be the case, because I think there's something more wrong with this thing. Which is really annoying because up until like a few days ago, it was working completely fine. And the only reason why I'm talking about it now is because I wasn't printing anything for a while. Yep, and it's doing the exact same thing again. It thinks there's something wrong with the print head issue and whatnot. It's not saying anything about the Hotend. It's saying the connection between the main board and the print end. So there's clearly something wrong with this printer. I have no idea what just happened, because again, it was printing just fine a few days ago and now it just doesn't. And for reference, this is what I was printing a few days ago. Again, it was printing completely fine. It printed off this Yamato perfectly fine. And yet today when I go to try and do another print, it decides to shit the bed on me, even though it was sitting idling for a couple days. It's still giving me the same issues again, and this time around I switched over to the other cable I was using. And of course, still no dice. Now I am using the original Hotend with this printer. They did send me off another Hotend. I'm going to grab that and see if it does anything. I doubt it will. As you can see, here is the new Hotend they sent alongside that board replacement. Well, it's taking a while to boot up again, so I can definitely say for certain that replacing the Hotend did not resolve the issue. So I am fairly certain someone from Elegoo is going to be seeing this video. Hopefully they'll be able to understand everything, because from what I can tell, they're in China. I could be wrong, but yep, same exact issue. So what's going on is, I don't know. It just stopped working. I've done nothing. The cable isn't the issue, because if it was, replacing it with this cable would stop this issue. And when it comes to the cable I initially had in this thing, I threw it away because, again, replacing it with this cable and then supplementally buying this one to replace this cable because this one has a higher power draw limit, it resolved the issues. I was able to continue printing without any issues. I did not have to replace this little board. I did not have to replace the Hotend, and I was able to continue on as expected. And yet I leave this thing alone for a couple days just to do other things, because 3D printing isn't my life. I go do other things, and then I go to start doing a print. This thing just completely shits the bed on me. I don't know what to do now at this point. Because again, if it was this board right here that resolved the issue, even though it's not fully seated and put together and whatnot, I have everything properly connected and everything else. And yet it still thinks there's something wrong with the connection to the main board when there clearly fucking is not. And to prove my point even more that it's not the cable, here's my main computer, here's the cable, here is my main smartphone. If I can get to, come on. Then I gotta turn it into a file mode, give me a sec. Had to pause it because it's showing my location, so I'm gonna hit this. And just like that, I can now go to my phone. I can now go to like what, music? There's all my music. And let's say I want to play this right here. For good as a USB-C is, it sometimes is really fucking stupid. It's amazing these smartphones do this. This isn't a cable issue. It's just something to do with these with Android phones in general. Oh, good old Android, you dumb pile of shit. Okay, let's try this again. This time to make things happy, I'll copy it to the desktop. And as you can see, it can copy over just fine. I don't know why Android phones like doing that through USB-C and whatnot, but USB-C through a computer for smartphones has never been stable. But as you can see, again, if it was the cable, it would have dropped out when it was transferring the file, and yet it didn't drop out. So it's not the cable. But for shits and giggles and to appease the person that's going to be responding to me over at Elegoo, I'll take out the original board, which is just right here. I don't know how well you'll be able to tell that's the different one or not. But again, this one is the one from the printer. This is the one you guys sent to me a while back. So I'm going to put this in its place. I'm going to put everything back together, excluding again that USB-C cable, because the cable that was in that printer initially is long since broken. And again, I already shown in previous videos that the cable was the issue on the reasoning of why it originally broke on me. This time around why it broke on me, I have no idea. All right, everything but the back little plastic cover piece is back together. I'm gonna flip this thing on. It's gonna do absolutely nothing because, well, something is more severely wrong with this thing than last time. I'm betting the main board just died. Again, this cable here is not the issue. If it was, it would have worked for as long as it did. Definitely a little annoying that the Centauri Carbon is the printer is giving me issues, while this thing right here, it's just my actual workhorse. I can re-level this thing and I can probably start printing within like an hour or so. Reason why an hour or so is because I need to let this thing heat soak for about 30 minutes or so before I do another re-level. I need to do that anyway, so that's why I have it turned on. I'm not doing the heating it because I'm waiting for it to finish off this video first. That way, so that thing isn't going to be making any more noise than it already is. Might as well pull this full of filament out of this thing too while I'm at it. And yep, it is dead still. Go figure. One more thing I will do before I do anything else is I will flip this around. I don't need to because, again, it was working completely fine as is. I really doubt flipping this around will fix it. Luckily, the main board and the tool end USB-C are just a standard USB 2 C port. I think it is reversible, but either way, the way I had it, it works completely fine. And yet, again, now it's just dead. Again, all I did was just leave it alone for a few days. I didn't do anything with it. I didn't turn it off or anything. I just went to start a print. It just hung there for a while. Then I decided, okay, maybe the printer's being a little stupid. I decided to power cycle. And then when I power cycled, it came up with that print head issue that I've been trying to troubleshoot as of this video and whatnot. And of course, this thing right here, more than likely, will just start printing just fine. This thing's been off for like maybe a month. Yeah, like I thought. Flipping it around did not resolve the issue. The printer is just dead. Absolutely amazing. If anything, it's more infuriating than anything else. Luckily, luckily Elegoo is not a bamboo. I expect a significant quicker response and a more satisfactory response from Elegoo than I do with bamboo. Hence why I don't have a bamboo printer in my collection anymore. I'm still a little peeved that this thing decided to die on me again when it was just sitting doing nothing. But then again, this is still kind of still not, oh whatever. I'm not going to talk any more bad than I already have with this thing. I do like this printer, but this is absolutely a sour note on this printer. I do nothing for a few days and it just shits the bed. Yet I leave this thing alone for God only knows how long, and it's still working completely fine. So I'm actually going to go here. No, not that. I want to go to prepare. I want to bring the Z-axis up a few. And as you can see, this thing's still working completely fine. The reason why I'm bringing it to Z-axis is because when I do the heating part of my re-level, there's going to be a filament that just comes out of the nozzle end. So I'm actually going to raise it up a little bit more. And why am I recording this part? Well, just to show the Neptune 4 for being old, for being as big and slow and noisy as it is still working completely fine. Even though, like I said, I haven't touched this thing in about a month, and yet it's still working just fine. And yet the Centauri Carbon shits to bed after a few days of just doing, again, jack shit. So I'm going to select the old PLA and I'm going to let this sit for 30 minutes. With that said, that's pretty much it for this video because, well, this thing's fucking dead and there ain't anything I can do about it other than send an email off to Centauri, or not Centauri, but to Elegoo saying, hey, my Centauri Carbon is fucking dead. Can you help me fix it? More than likely what I'm going to ask them to do is just send me another one. And then I'll just bring this one over to my local Free Geek so they can deal with it, or just recycle it, or just do whatever they want with it. Lord knows my local Free Geek will love to have one of these things, because I'd rather just get a new one of these and just start all over again, instead of trying to repair this pile of crap, because it's just going to break again, and I'd rather just start with a brand new one.